Hi everyone, welcome back to OA Dynasty Forum. And those who are new on this platform, we welcome you powerfully. This is OA Dynasty Forum. On this forum, we talk about the process that is involved on every success story. Today it's going to be a little bit spicy because we have an important guest in our midst, and I'm going to advise you guys to get your writing materials because this person doesn't leave people the way he met them.
Okay, so we have Dr. Tunji Odumosu, and he's our big brother.
Yeah, he's a mentor.
Yes, and
to us.
Yes, and he's a medical doctor by profession, and he's a Christian. He's a child of God. So definitely what we're going to be talking about today is going to be based on that lens, right? His experience, his work with God, and just to shed more light on that particular area, the success. Of course, we know that every success has a process.
Oh, yeah.
But what we get to hear most times is the success, the glamour. But then it's important to actually talk about, the process so that people can, people know that they are not just the only one in whatever situation that they're going through, and that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just going to leave it. And of course, husband to one wife.
That's very important.
And father to two beautiful children. Yeah.
So can we meet you, sir?
Well, thank you for having me on. When you guys told me, I think you told my wife first.
Yeah.
And she made it clear that I'm not really one to do these things, but we've learned that you do what the Lord leads you to do, right?
Yes,
so
yes,
I prayed about it, I checked my heart, and the Lord said do it, so we do it, right?
We're doing it.
And that's a big encouragement to us, right? Because it's not every time that you expect that someone will just want to come on your platform, right? So you need to also know, you need to be led by the Spirit, and you also need to allow that person to feel led, right? To be on your platform. So we are very, very grateful for this opportunity, and we do not take it for granted.
Yeah, you don't get yes all the time. Sir, you're a medical doctor. You did your education in Nigeria.
Yes.
You practice in the US. You practice in New Zealand. Now practicing in Canada. You're an internist. That's so big, sir. Can you please take us through the process?
Well, I trained in the US. I did my specialist training in the US, and then I moved to New Zealand shortly after. Well, you I like your theme when you say things like success has a process. But I have to say that individuals need to know that the Lord deals with us as individuals.
Yes, sir.
A preacher said this once, and it's something that I enjoy so much. That if anybody makes a book that says 5 steps to success, don't buy it. Or 7 steps. I mean, I'm not knocking motivational speakers and what they're doing. God bless you. But it is very individualized. And what works for you may not work for me. But one thing that works for anybody that will do it, not try it, but will do it, is following what the Lord tells you to do.
That's powerful.
And following what he tells you to do means you need to be able to know what he's telling you to do at every given time. I knew I was going to be a doctor when I was 9. I didn't have a vision. I didn't see anything. I just knew. Before then, I was going to be an aeronautic engineer. Anyways. And from then on, from primary school, everything I did was, take high school courses that would just help me get into medicine. And everybody knew that Tunji was going to be a doctor because I had told everybody. Now, when the time came, I sat my exams. At the time, there used to be 3 options, first, second, and third choices at the time. And I was 6 points shy of my cutoff for Medilag.
Wow.
I was gutted. It was just, yeah, it was bad because I was in faith. By then I was saved and I was trusting God, and and it didn't work out. So they offered me biochemistry in Netherlands. I turned it down. I said, no way. I know what I believe the Lord wants me to do. That's medicine. So, so I got into University of Ilorin biochemistry with the option of switching over to medicine in my second year. So I went for that, and I just kept, trusting God and believing that it'll work out. So I took the courses, and by the grace of God, I scaled through, not excellently, because the Lord had to. Yeah, there was one course by Chike Obi. Oh my goodness.
You remember it?
Oh yes, it's a law of the thermodynamics and all that stuff. It was crazy, and the Lord just got me the pass mark. Right, so yeah. Anyways,
go.
Thank you. But when it came time to get into medicine, I knew in my heart, because I prayed. I knew a bunch of us that wanted to cross over, and I knew that I was taken in medicine. We're going to the sub-dean's office to get the result. It was 2 weeks after resumption that year. And I was asking the Lord, what about this person? What about the Lord? Okay, that person was taken. This one wasn't taken. When I say the Lord told me, I didn't hear an audible voice. It's just on the inside. It's like you're thinking, but it's on the inside of you. That's how that inward voice. So the first person went in, and it was what I got. They was like, oh yeah, I was taken. Okay, that was what I got. The other person went in. I was like, okay. That one went in. No. I was like, okay, that's 3 now. So I said, let me go and hear my own good news. So I walked in, and the man told me I was not taken.
Wow.
So at that point, I don't know if you've ever been told no before. I have been on several occasions. And it's happened in New Zealand, where they say they wouldn't give me jobs in bigger hospitals because, for many reasons, they're not sure whether you can do it because they haven't seen you work before and all that stuff. But you don't argue with these things. We operate at a higher level.
Yes, sir.
So when I was told that, I told them, and I said, are you sure? He said, yes. I remember we discussed, and they said they were not going to take you. I felt like that was it for me. What am I going to do? I had no fallback.
Yeah.
It's either go do biochemistry or take jam again the next year, which I was not open to. So when I left that office, of course, people were waiting outside. They were like, so TJ, what was it? I looked down, I looked up, and I told them I was taken.
Wow.
Now, you need to experience these things in order to be able to describe, because you read it in the Word, and at that point, I said, but you lied. No, it depends on whose account I was relaying. So I'm not going to get into semantics with anybody, I said I was taken because I believed what he told me, and what the sub-dean told me was different. So I told him, I said, look, I was taken. And they were like, yeah. But before they asked any more questions, I ran away from them. Because I was still in turmoil. So on the inside, I was just completely disorganized. So I went to the sports complex, and I cried for about 5 minutes. I was alone. And then I wiped away my eyes. I remember vividly, I was at the top, the last seat there. And I said out loud, I said, devil, this is the last time I'm going to cry on this matter. Wow. And I'm not going to allow you to steal this away from me. I was 18 years old. So I went to my best friend. We've been friends since high school. He just entered medicine. You need to have a faith buddy.
Yeah.
Someone that will not just be crying with you. Someone that will say, no, that's not going to happen. So I said, that's what I say. It's a lie. I say it's a lie. So we said every day. So we decided 1 hour we'll just go and just pray every day, just waiting for instruction. And that's why I started by saying it's very personal. You need to know what he's telling you to do. I think it was about the 3rd day of doing this. It wasn't anything lengthy or anything. It was we just spent an hour just praying in tongues at the stadium together and everything. And then instructions started coming. And the Lord said I should go and get medical textbooks. Buy textbooks, start attending medical lectures.
Wow.
So, I mean, at that juncture, when you have nothing to lose,
Yeah.
you can either chicken out because you can still back out at any moment because, I mean, so I said, yes, Lord. I mean, so I went, I got the textbooks. I started attending lectures. Everybody thought I was taken. This sub-dean taught us anatomy. So every time he came to class, I will cover my head so he would see me and call me out and say, what are you doing or something like that. The Lord said, go back and, go to him and tell him I sent you, that this is someone you have to take in this department. So I waited for the coast to be clear. So I walked in and I told him that question. I told him what the Lord said. And he looked down and he looked up. He said, I believe you.
Wow.
He said, since the day you left my office, he said, it's just something. I haven't told my wife that there was a boy that came into my office, because that was one of the things we prayed of. I said, Lord, just put my name in this man's mind.
Wow.
So he said, but if God is the one telling you this, he can tell them at the departments that they should cover. I said, that's true. By that time, I was now bolder than before. So I said, you can also take my case to them and say, this is someone that I think we should take care. So he said, okay, we have another meeting coming. I said, when is the meeting? He told me the date. I said, who's the head of the whole thing? He told me the professor's name. I said, you don't worry. You go, and then we'll do what we got to do.
Wow.
So we went by every day, just an hour. My buddy and I, we just pray. We just get 2 weeks from when they told me I wasn't taken, I was accepted into medicine.
Wow.
That's big.
Now, it's not so much. I mean, prayer is important, but more importantly is obedience. And that's why I say it has to be individualized. Because the fact that the Lord put something in your heart, the fact that the Lord told you to do something, does not mean doors will just be flying open. So if doors are open, it doesn't mean it's the Lord that opened the door.
Not all open doors are open doors.
And if doors are shut, it doesn't mean the Lord does not want you to go. So we cannot use circumstances to determine whether the Lord wants us to do something or not. You need, the Bible says, be ye not unwise, Ephesians 4, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. So it's not just so much as more prayer, more prayer, more prayer. No, you need to pray and then check what is it that he's impressing in my heart to do. What steps should I take? And he does give instructions. And that's how I got into medicine. So it almost never happened. So it wasn't just this, I'm smart. Yes, even though in my WAEC I cleared it. I had A's and stuff like that. And not as smart as you guys. I know you guys are geniuses. but at least I held my own.
That's Dr. Fulida.
But it so happened that it almost never happened. So me being a doctor today, it's not just like a lot of people, they passed and they took their exam, they got into medicine. No, for me it almost never happened. Same thing with residency. I almost never got in to residency in New York. I only had 3 interviews. When other people will be getting hundreds of interviews. People would travel from all over the United States to do interviews in different states just so they can, better their chances of getting in. But prior to me doing my residency in New York, I already knew that the Lord wanted me to be in New York. Said he had work for me to do there. So there was no point for me looking for residency in San Francisco, California. So in knowing that, it helped me tailor my applications. But even when I applied to over 30-something hospitals in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, they call the tri-state area, I only got 3 interviews. And one of them, I didn't even want, I prayed to the Lord that He will not take me in that way because the workload was crazy. I have friends that were doing residency there, and they were like, dude. So I had one that I really liked, and the other hospital, Jamaica Hospital. The one I really liked, when it came time for the match, it I matched for Jamaica Hospital.
Wow.
So I only interviewed in 3 places, and I got in. And so that one too, I mean, so it hasn't. So the process for success is not something that is just as generalized. If you do this, the only guaranteed way, according to God's word, is just listen to what He's telling you to do and do it. There's no point trying to do something and then asking God to bless it. Why don't you find out what He's already blessed and then do that?
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
That's very, very powerful.
Yeah, so that when you're doing that and the enemy comes, you're assured that that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Then you can just shut him down rather than when opposition is coming and you're like, I don't know, maybe this is the Lord. It can't be the Lord because I was sure to begin with that this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
Right? So the process is not so much as A, B, C, D, wake up in the morning, pray 5 times a day. And the Muslims do that. We're not the only ones that have
prayer schedule.
We're not the only ones that have fasting schedules. Almost every religion that is worth anything, they fast. They have Ramadan, Buddhists fasts, traditionalists. You know, we're all Yorubas.
Oh yeah.
Those the ones that have the demons living with them and talking through them. They eat alligator pepper, atari.
Yeah.
They can eat that for a year and not feel hunger because they are on another level, on the dark side. So it's not it's the fact that we're dealing with the Lord, who is king over everything, and we listen. Moses' success was because everything the Lord told him, he just did that. But the thing is, that is, so there's no, you have to wake up at 5 a.m., you can only sleep for 4 hours every day, you can't sleep for longer. No, just be led. The Lord is leading you to sleep. If the Lord tells you wake up, when I say tell, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. It's not a voice in your ear that's loud. It's just it's just an impression. You just get it. This is what I should be doing. And believe me, don't worry that I may not know. You will know. Because He knows how to communicate with us. He's an intelligent being. He's He created intelligence. He knows how to get through to you in your Ijesha language. He knows how to get through to you. And I think, I can just crisscross, and that goes into marriage as well, right? Because I think that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Because there is no one size fits all, because we are different. My marriage is different from your marriage, is different. And then when people call asking advice, can't tell them what you would do. You have to ask them what do you think you should do, and tell them what the word says they should do, and they should be convinced that that's what they should do. So it goes into all of that you just need to be led in line with what the word has to say, because the Bible is clear concerning certain things. Right? We are in 21st century. Which century are we in? 21st century. And some people will tell you that gender roles are no longer. No, there's nothing like no longer. Even the Bible makes it clear that all of you be subject to one another. And then it now goes into specifics. There's a role for the wife. There's a role for the husband. There's a role for mothers. He says that the young women in Titus, he made it very clear. Now, does that mean that is the only thing they're supposed to do, that they have no other function. That is not, the Bible never said that. We don't add to scripture, we don't take away from scripture,
Yeah.
but we have our primary responsibilities. It is my responsibility to love my wife.
Yeah.
Period. It's my responsibility to train my children, to make sure that they are taught in the ways of the Lord.
Yeah.
And to do that, I need to make the time.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell the people, no, God first, the family second, the job comes third. So if my job is threatening my family life, now, thank God I'm now in that position where I have options.
Yeah.
But until you get there, don't stop trusting God and using your faith to where you get to where you have options.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Lord wants you to be completely free from men. He wants to be your Lord.
Lord. Yeah. Yeah.
So he doesn't want a situation whereby you are not able to do something because you're financially constrained. Then the need is your Lord. The need is dictating
Exactly.
to you, you know, how far you can go, what you can do, what you can't do. Where you can't do it because your job wouldn't allow, then the job is becoming, do you understand? He wants you to get to where you are at the top and you have the opportunity to do whatever he tells you to do at any given time. So nobody starts there. None of us do.
Yeah.
So when I think one of the things we're going to talk about is the issue of you know, people who are on their journey of success. We are all on that journey.
Yes.
It's not
Exactly.
until we exit this joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to actually mention that because, you know, we all, of course, at certain stages in our lives, we look up to people who we feel that they've, you know, achieved more than we have, right? But it's also important to mention that even those that we are looking up to are also looking up to some people, right? So it's because there's never a point where you feel like, well, I think I've arrived. If you have arrived, then I think maybe you're ready to.
Yeah, famous last words.
Yeah.
If you think you've gotten there, and even if you have, there's one debt that you can never pay, and that is love. According to Romans 13, says, "Owe no man nothing, or pay what you owe." It says, "But love." That is one day you can.
Yeah.
I was telling, well, we have our Bible study every morning at home, and I was telling, I said, the one thing that I find challenging is not about praying. You can pray for hours. It's not about word. You can quote word. It's that love. That is the measure by which you know you are maturing. You know how much you are praying or reading the Bible or preaching or doing all that. 1 Corinthians 13 says so. So you can pray in tongues till your mouth is, you can even speak tongues of angels and of men, which means you are a prayer warrior. But if you're not walking in love, it says it's just like just.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
That's a symbol.
It says, and then you can have faith. You have knowledge. That means you are moving word and you are preaching. You know, souls are getting converted and all that stuff. Because the Lord spoke to a donkey.
Yeah.
So
the Lord can talk to anybody, and people will get saved and things will happen.
Yeah.
But the measure by which you and I will be measured by, the standard, is how much we are growing and developing in love.
Wow. Wow,
So
that's very instructive, and thank you so much for going there, because so we don't want this video to be too long, right? So we're going to actually just cut it here, and we're going to start our next session. So you just don't want to miss it. You know? All right, thank you so much. If you have stayed to this point, please watch out for the next one coming up shortly. All right, and if you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe, like, and share. If this has blessed you, you know, you want to share with some of your, you know, network, right? And so that they can also get blessed. And by that, of course, I think YouTube, you know, but the more you like, YouTube thinks, okay, I think this video is very important, and then it keeps suggesting it to people. All right, then, thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.